Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, welcome back to another Buffalo Sabres game night presented to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. We're here on the Crossing Swords pregame show. The Sabres have dropped a bunch of games in a row. There's no reason to think they won't again tonight, with the Maple Leafs being minus 420 on the money line. A lot of reason to think the Sabres might get smoked here. With that said, let's get our panel in here. We got Gatesy, we got intern Vinny. Gentlemen, Sabres get ready to do battle with the Maple Leafs tonight up north, and it feels like a little bit of a return to normalcy in that regard.
Yeah, it's after the past maybe 2 years now, it's just nice to see the team play up in Canada and just get constant games in now, especially how it was a couple months ago with games being canceled, season being shut down. It's starting to feel good again.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that this used to be considered a rivalry game, and even though it sort of is in a way now, when you're looking at the teams, these records, the Leafs are 35-14-4, Sabres are 16-30-8. I mean, they're almost polar opposites, and the Leafs have been struggling with goaltending lately, but against this Sabres team, I don't necessarily think that's going to be the problem today for that team specifically. There's a reason that they're heavy favorites.
And they'll need to struggle in goaltending if the Sabres are going to have a shot tonight. So I'll ask you guys both that question. Do the Sabres have a shot tonight in this matchup, having dropped basically their last slew of couple games here, struggling? Maple Leafs, obviously a well-oiled machine, like you said, Vinny, 35-14-4. If the Sabres are going to have a shot tonight, I guess is the follow-up question to this, how is it going to happen?
Well, I mean, it's going to happen if Toronto continues their goaltending struggles. That's really the only outlet that's going to create this for the Sabres. And quite frankly, if I'm a Toronto fan, there's no other team in the league that I'd want to face, maybe the Coyotes. But to get me back on a roll again, or give me back a little bit of momentum, than the Buffalo Sabres right now. So, as much as it pains me to say that, I will say, it is the NHL. So yes, I think the Sabres have a shot tonight because it's a regular season game and it's on a Wednesday night in Toronto, and they've done it before. I mean, the Sabres do have a tendency to play well against good teams. I mean, look at their record against the Lightning over the past couple of years. While they haven't won the majority of those games, I think they actually are in most of them. I mean, even with Eichel and then even without Eichel, I mean, you can look at the way the Sabres have played teams like Tampa Bay or like Dallas the other night, or even St. Louis, where they were in the game for a while. They have a tendency to sort of maybe play well against those good teams. So I don't think the Sabres are going to be like out to lunch in this game. I don't think they're going to lose 7-1. So, but I will say that the chances of them winning are a little bit less than I think I'd probably like to admit that they are.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that, Vinny. This team's just so, again, I'm going to say it again, hot and cold, and they play well against good teams. If you think about that Colorado game a couple weeks ago, I mean, they were in it. They could have won that game, and it's just these good teams. The Sabres kind of show up. They score goals. They get some saves. So maybe tonight's one of those nights.
You guys are right. I mean, these Sabres the last 5 years have been defined by the ability to almost play up to their opponent and then play down to anybody who's at their level or below them, which again has been rare, obviously, these last couple of years. So with that said, Sabres, huge underdogs. Obviously, our hearts aren't going to be broken with a loss. With that said, we obviously want to see some things on the ice. Let's start it up with Gatesy. Gatesy, what are you looking for out of this Sabres group tonight in Toronto?
I would love some scoring, Toronto's been having a tough time stopping pucks, but specifically depth scoring. It's been the Tage Thompson, Jeff Skinner show the past. It's way too long now. I'd love to see some other guys step in, score some goals, and if we can get a couple in, maybe start to build some confidence and get things going towards the end of the season here.
Cristiano, what do you got?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself and I just couldn't click the screen for some reason. Look, I think
the game.
Yeah, I think it's pregame nerves is what it is. You know, these Eastern Conference matchups always get the blood pumping a little bit. No, I don't think it's nerves at all. I think what it is the Sabres are going to go into this matchup, and I don't think I think what you need is, I mean, it's an easy question to answer. You need good goaltending, you need depth scoring, and I think if you're going to see anything, I would like to see something from, like, I would like to see a Peyton Krebs goal today. I think that would be something I'd look forward to as a specific to sort of see in this game. And the Sabres are on a skid, and obviously nobody really expected them to be good. But as much as you love the coach, and Don Granato's done a really good job talking to the media and sort of being open and sort of being elaborating on points that probably a lot of other professional sports coaches wouldn't do. So that's sort of refreshing to see. But realistically, I mean, regardless of whether or not you're a good talker or a good coach or whatever, you got to sort of stop the bleeding at some point. So I think I'm not going to say it's panic time, but I definitely think if we start getting into like losing streak record territory again, then I would sort of maybe start to get nervous. But right now, I would like to see a win just to sort of get a bounce back. But against a team like Toronto, it's not something that I'm necessarily expecting.
Real quick on the pregame show here on Crossroads, he's got to go. Gatesy, get us your prediction for this Sabres-Leafs game.
Every game so far I've been drastically wrong, so I'm going to fade myself tonight. I'm going a 5-2 Sabres win. Lots of depth scoring. Fade everything. Over is going to hit, though. I guarantee that. But let's go Sabres. Let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Sabres. Let's go Buffalo. All right. Thanks, Gatesy. Thanks for joining us, obviously, here on the Outlet Liquor Crossing Swords pregame show. Sabres, Maple Leafs, just about 35 minutes away, Vinny. Just on one topic here before we actually wrap it up as well. We've been talking about the trade deadline. It's very crucial for the potential makeup of what this offseason will be and what the future of the Sabres team will be. Big thing tonight, Colin Miller back in the lineup. So, again, I'm clueless. Are we dangling him out there so we can show what he's got in a big spot?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to look at it like that. I'm not, I wish I had the influence or the sort of knowledge of their inner workings to know that, hey, we'll throw him in there to see what happens. Or if it's just like, I guess we'll just try different pairings to see if our defense will play better. I think that's been another with this team. You could say, well, if we had a good starting goaltender, maybe we'd have won 6 more games at this point. But our defense hasn't been really good at all. So, I mean, you're looking at like 3 major parts of this team: depth scoring, goaltending, and then defense that I think have been issues. So, I don't know, maybe personally, I think they might just be experimenting with different line combinations or defensive pairings rather to just sort of see if they can find a spark. Because the team is not like, I'm not in the boat that I think they're tanking or whatever. Like, I'm not in that boat. So I just assume they're just trying to figure out what they can do to play better as a unit. And if Colin Miller happens to put up 2 points tonight and increases his value a little bit for the deadline, I see no problem with that. But I don't think him being in the lineup is the reason for that specifically. But they could definitely prove me wrong.
You have no regard for my well-being. I'm here by a brick wall, and when you use the T word, Mike Harrington could come through, bursting through it at any point. So I appreciate you not caring at all, Benny. With that said, we are obviously caring about this matchup here on Crossing Swords pregame show. Sabres Leafs just about 30 minutes away from puck drop here. What do you got, Benny? I can't believe Gatesy talked about how the Sabres had no shot. He just goes 5-2 Sabres.
Yeah, that's bold.
That was incredible.
Yeah, so I will say, I feel like we always predict when we do these, everybody sort of predicts something different, but every single time I feel like I'm also wrong. And as much as I would love to fade myself, I don't know how I could do that because it's just going to be wrong. So I guess if I'm going to, my real prediction is I'm going to say 4-2 Leafs. And I don't think, I think that's probably realistic. I like the 5-2 number. 5-2 seems realistic, but just sort of like with a Leafs empty netter maybe. But I think I'm going to go Leafs in this one. I think I'm going to take them by 2 goals or more. So, you had that up there earlier. Is Sabres plus 1.5 the move? I do not think so. If anything, I think Leafs -1.5 is the play. And I actually don't know. Do we know what the over/under is for this game? I think it's got to be around 6.5. I assume.
Yeah,
right?
I would say it's 6.5. Let's do a little check here as we look up. Who are the goal? By the way, give me the goal. It's Anderson tonight. I mean, again, I know this is something that sure.
6.5. 6.5 is correct. Yes, and it looks like Anderson and Mrazek is the projected starter for the Leafs today.
Vegas is just being stubborn on Anderson like they've been all year, though, because his numbers say he might be able to hold Toronto to 3 or maybe 4 in this spot, and that would obviously favor an under. I am going to go with the Sabres pull a move they've done many times this season. They scored 2 goals in the first period to take a 2-0 lead. So the Maple Leafs will slap right back. They'll get to 2-1 right away. I don't know if they'll come all the way back right away. They'll eventually come back and make it 3-3. The Sabres will lose 4-3 in overtime. Maple Leafs fans go home happy. Sabres are wondering what happened to their 2-0 lead again. And yeah, as far as, for what I want to see, and just to wrap that up, I want to see us hold on to these leads. I think that they've been able to, come out of the gate strong, or at least be tied or ahead in the third period. And closing that out is part of growing. You don't necessarily need to put 45, 50 wins on the board, but you got to show me that you can at least string together a couple or hold on to wins when you're in the spot to do so, Vinny.
Yes, I'm with you. I don't think that it's necessarily a huge problem at this point. Obviously, you don't want to just be giving up leads left and right, but I think realistically, it's sort of that might be. I think growing pains is a phrase that people have used a lot when talking about the Sabres this year. So I really love that prediction. I feel like that could be spot on. It's just very on brand for the team this year and the way that they've sort of played. They come out strong and then they just sort of can't hold on to it, which, maybe has something to do with their inexperience more than it does their talent, or maybe has something more to do with their talent than it does the coaching or their conditioning or whatever. Like, I don't think it's that they're getting tired. So I think, the growing pains, and hopefully by next year, that problem has, I'm sure it'll happen eventually next year, but hopefully it happens less common than it has this year.
Seriously, we all just want the Sabres to be stacking W's. They want them to eat W's like they are Jameis Winston. Speaking of EWs, make sure you're following Crossing Swords on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that fun. Huge shout out to my co-host, intern Vinny. We are just about under 30 minutes from Phase Up. Make sure you're following him, VCristiano3, on all platforms. And let's follow the Sabres to a big win tonight. Hopefully Vinny and I are wrong. Gatesy's right. We always want the Sabres to win. Yeah. Because here at Crossing Swords, it's all about 3 words.
Let's go, Buffalo.
Let's go, Buffalo!
Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save.